know what it feels like? To fight a battle no one sees, a war that rages within, silent but brutal. You wake up each day, plastering a fake smile on your face while a storm brews inside. The world thinks you're fine, because you hide it so well. But deep down, you're crumbling, breaking piece by piece. And yet here you are, still standing, still fighting. Why? Because somewhere inside you, there's a part that refuses to break, a fire that refuses to be extinguished. Every great warrior has faced their darkest hour. That's the part nobody tells you about strength. It isn't born in comfort. It's forged in fire. The kind of fire that burns everything you once were. Your innocence, your peace, even your hope. And when the flames consume it all, you're left standing in the ashes, wondering who you've become. But here's the truth. That's where the strongest warriors are made. In the ashes, in the pain. Think about it. Do you really think those who've lived easy, comfortable lives ever become unshakable? No. Strength comes from struggle. Growth comes from pain. The people you admire, the ones you see as unstoppable, they've bled for it. They've suffered in silence, faced betrayals, losses and failures that could have broken them. But they didn't quit. You might be wondering, why me? Why is life so cruel to me? Let me ask you this. Instead, why not you? What makes you think you're not capable of bearing this weight? You've already survived everything life has thrown at you so far. You've been knocked down more times than you can count. And yet, you get back up. That's not weakness. It's strength in its rawest form. Pain is a currency. It's the price you pay for greatness. The world doesn't hand out victories to those who sit on the sidelines. It rewards those who dare to stand up after every fall. Those who take the punches, wipe the blood from their face, and keep moving forward. You're not here to live an ordinary life. You're here to fight, to endure, to become something more. And that path, and it's never easy. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival, of resilience. You didn't choose these battles, but they chose you. Life has a way of testing those it knows can handle the pressure. You may not feel it now, but every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you wanted to give up, it's shaping you. It's carving out a version of you that's stronger, smarter, and more relentless than you can imagine. Let me tell you a secret. The hardest battles aren't meant to break you. They're meant to wake you up, to strip away everything you thought you needed, and show you what you're truly made of. It's in the moments when you think you've hit rock bottom that you discover how high you can rise. Because strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. Listen, do you know what separates those who crumble under pressure from those who rise? It's not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's grit. It's the ability to endure when everything inside you screams to give up. The strongest warriors aren't born. They're made in the moments when quitting seems like the easiest option. But they choose to keep going anyway. That's where real strength lies. Not in the absence of struggle, but in how you respond to it. And here's the reality no one wants to admit. Life doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about your plans, your dreams, or how much you think you deserve a break. Life will hit you hard, over and over again, until until you learn to hit back. It will test your patience, your resolve, your belief in yourself. The question is, will you rise, or will you let it bury you? I know you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders. The nights where the silence is so loud, it drowns out your thoughts. The days where you feel invisible, unappreciated, and utterly alone. But let me tell you something. Those moments, they are your training ground. They're sharpening you, toughening you, preparing you for what's to come. Because the truth is, the strongest warriors are often the ones who fought their battles in the dark, unseen and unheard. There's a beauty in struggle that most people miss. It strips you of your illusions. It forces you to confront who you really are when there's nothing left to hide behind. And yes, it's brutal. It's messy, but it's real. And in a world full of pretenders and fakers, your scars are proof that you've lived, that you've fought, and that you've survived. You've been through hell, and yet here you are. That's something to be proud of. Don't let the world convince you that your pain defines you. It doesn't. What defines you is how you rise from it, how you take every heartbreak, every failure, every ounce of doubt, and use it as fuel to push forward. That's what separates warriors from the rest. They don't know your story. They see the surface, the calm, composed version of you that hides the chaos within. They don't see the battles you fight every day just to keep going. And you know what? They don't need to. Your strength isn't for show. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving it to yourself. Because when the world turns its back on you, when the people you trusted the most betray you, when everything you've worked for crumbles, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's the moment you stop relying on anyone else to save you and realize you've had the power within you. Listen, pain is inevitable. No one escapes it, but how you use it is up to you. Some let it destroy them, make them bitter, resentful, and small. But the strongest warriors, they transform it. They take that pain and turn it into something powerful. They let it fuel their hunger, their determination, their will to succeed. Think about the greatest stories you've ever heard. The underdog who defied the odds, the hero who rose from nothing, the survivor who refused to give up. What do they all have in common? They didn't run from their pain. They embraced it. They understood that every setback, every failure, every moment of despair was a stepping stone to something greater. You have that same potential. It's already within you. Every time life has knocked you down, it's given you an opportunity to rise stronger. Every time someone doubted you, betrayed you, or underestimated you, it's added fuel to the fire. You're not weak for feeling pain. You're human. But what you do with that pain, that's what defines you. Let's talk about the power of perseverance. Perseverance isn't glamorous. It's not the stuff of inspirational quotes or movie montages. It's raw, it's ugly, and it's hard. It's waking up every day with the weight of the world on your chest and choosing to carry it anyway. It's facing failure after failure and refusing to let it define you. It's standing up for yourself when no one else will. People will tell you to quit. They'll say you're wasting your time, that you're not good enough, that you should settle for less. But those people, they're not living your life. They don't know your struggles, your dreams, your potential. Only you do. And you owe it to yourself to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. Because here's the truth. The strongest warriors aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who get up, over and over again. No matter how many times life knocks them down, they don't rely on motivation or inspiration to keep going. They rely on discipline, resilience, and sheer willpower. There's no shortcut through hell. You can't cheat the struggle, and you can't run from it. No amount of wishing, hoping, or praying will erase the pain you're going through. But let me tell you something powerful. You don't need it to go away. What you need is to go through it. Pain is your teacher. Every time it knocks you down, it's asking you a question. What are you made of? And every time you get back up, every time you take another step forward, you're giving the answer. I'm unbreakable. Look around. Most people never face themselves. They hide behind their routines, their distractions, their shallow comforts. They're terrified of the kind of battles you've faced. They crumble at the first sign of adversity. But you've been thrown into the fire. And even if you feel like you're barely hanging on, you're still standing. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. The strongest warriors are the ones no one sees coming. They're the ones who've spent years in the shadows, silently fighting battles that would destroy most people. They're the ones who've learned to rely on themselves when the world let them down. And here's the truth. Strength isn't loud. It doesn't brag or show off. It doesn't need validation. Real strength is quiet. It's the person who keeps moving forward, even when they're walking alone. It's the one who doesn't give up, even when the odds are stacked against them. Listen, turning pain into power. There's a secret weapon buried in your pain power. Most people waste it. They let their pain consume them, make them bitter, or hold them back. But you're different. You've learned how to turn your pain into fuel. Every time someone doubted you, every time life knocked you down, every time you felt like giving up, it added to the fire inside you. Think about it. Would you be as strong as you are now if you hadn't faced the battles you've been through? Would you be as resilient, as determined, as unshakable? Of course not. Your pain has been your greatest teacher. It's shown you what you're capable of, what you're willing to endure, and how far you're willing to go to succeed. But here's the thing about pain. It doesn't just teach you, it transforms you. It breaks down the old version of you and forces you to rebuild piece by piece. And the person you become after that, they're stronger, wiser, and more relentless than ever before. When the world doubts you, they'll tell you to give up. They'll say you're wasting your time, that you're not good enough, that you should just settle for what you have. But they don't know your heart. They don't know the battles you fought, the nights you've cried, the strength it's taken just to get here. The world loves to doubt the underdog, because it's easier to dismiss someone than to believe in their potential. But let me tell you something. Every great warrior was doubted before they proved themselves. Every champion faced people who told them they'd never make it. And yet they didn't stop. They didn't let the world's opinions define them. They used the doubt as fuel, as motivation, as a reason to push even harder. And that's exactly what you're going to do. Because here's the truth. The people who doubt you don't matter. Their opinions don't pay your bills. They don't fight your battles. And they don't walk in your shoes. The only opinion that matters is your own. In the end, the battle never ends. Here's the harsh reality. Life will never stop testing you. There will always be new challenges, new obstacles, new battles to fight. But that's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because every battle you face is an opportunity to grow. Every obstacle is a chance to prove to yourself just how strong you are. And every time you rise after falling, you're becoming more of the warrior you were meant to be. The hardest battles create the strongest warriors, and you're living proof of that. So don't let the pain, the doubt, the fear hold you back. Use it. Embrace it. Let it transform you. Because one day you'll look back and realize that everything you went through wasn't breaking you. It was building you.